Want to show you a broad brush of the storm, a wide perspective of the storm. So let me just zoom out real quick. And the center of the storm is still sitting just to the south of us. So we are beginning the thick of the storm. The center of the storm is right here, and it's going to track up in this direction. So the storm is just beginning in our area. It stays like it is right now, straight through until 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon. This is the center of the storm. The track is up and out this way. As it tracks out to sea, by tomorrow morning, it is much better. So here's what you can expect. I just want you to be able to time things out. Noontime, heavy snow. When you've got these colors across the area, early on we were trying to pick out specific locations that were going to be particularly hard hit. But there you go. You can see much of the area just really getting inundated with this heavy snow. It's just 2 o'clock this afternoon. Heavy snow continues. We also look for these little dry slots to kind of move up and into the area. If you're lucky enough to get one, you might get a break in the snow for maybe a half an hour to an hour, but we're really not seeing that develop. These are the latest model runs on this blizzard. This is 5 o'clock, snow still coming down hard and fast, but watch how this storm starts to track out to sea, even by 6, 7, 8 o'clock. 9 o'clock, it starts to dissipate north and west. Midnight, getting close, but around 2, 3 o'clock this morning, there is a sharp cutoff line. At 9 o'clock, it's light snow showers, but by midnight, that's when you are just looking at the storm moving quickly out to sea, and we quickly clear across the area just after midnight tonight. So everything will be better by tomorrow morning. So let's check it out. We'll see if we meet the blizzard criteria. At this point, they do out in Suffolk County, certainly right along the Jersey Shore. They are very close. And in and around the 5 boroughs, we certainly are very close. Criteria includes the visibility of a quarter mile or less, sustained winds at 35 miles per hour all morning long. Really, well, actually since 8 o'clock this morning, we've met this criteria. We've had visibility down to a quarter mile or less across much of the area. This is the one that the key element we've been missing, the sustained wind at 35 miles per hour. The east end of Long Island has met that. Not so much in the city. The city, we've been very close to it, but there you go. JFK, quarter mile. Newark, 1/8 of a mile. Islip, a quarter mile. So once again, here's the area. We're highlighting it. This is all the area that right now is within the blizzard criteria. And you can basically Long Island, New York City, back into almost the Delaware River. So the next thing we need to meet is the wind speeds. And that's where we've been very close. West Hampton taking a little bit of a step back to 24 miles per hour. Last hour up, sustained at 35. And in the city, we are sustained at 25 miles per hour. All said and done, we anticipate anywhere between 12 and 18. 12 and 18 inches of snow, guys. That is very challenging for the city. Tomorrow, much better.
All right, Linda, thanks for that.
Yeah, all right. We've been watching the conditions all over the tri-state area. James Ford is at a very important place right now on Long Island.
The Office of Emergency Management in Bethpage. James, what are you seeing there?
Well, look, what we're seeing is a lot of what Linda was saying, and we are living it. Yes, where we've got blizzard-like conditions now on Long Island. Well, just look at them. What she talked about, it's those sustained winds. Let's see. Why don't we go over to the flags there? That gives you some, that gives you some idea, strong idea of just how swift these winds are. Yes, we're talking sustained winds well over 30 miles an hour, and the visibility that she talked about. Let's go over to the right here, and I would say right now less than a quarter mile visibility. These winds are really, really sharp, and the snow just keeps falling. One other thing well worth noting here, only about 2.5 miles from where we are right now, well, that's the ocean. And we are having a lot of streets there. The tide is going out right now, but we saw that high tide come in onto the streets, and a lot of houses on those streets concerned about flooding being possibly as bad as Sandy. A lot of people having brought their items up off the ground onto second floors or just leaving altogether. Here's something else worth noting. We're right next to a gas station. You see the signs on the pumps? No gasoline. That's we've seen as a theme out here at various places on Long Island. A lot of folks wisely yesterday filled up So they'll have gas throughout the weekend, and the result, yeah, none left. And as I just in this live shot right now, the conditions have picked up more. Look now at that same intersection. Visibility has decreased that much. And look, we are west of the points where the blizzard conditions are heaviest, and they are bad here, and we're anticipating them only getting worse throughout the day. As you all pointed out, we do have an emergency management briefing coming up around noon, and there is a need for emergency management. One last thing, let's talk about the snow. Here, these boots are 17 inches tall. Let's go on a drift here. I'm going to go all the way to the ground. And still not on the ground now. So yeah, we're talking drifts. Probably about 14 inches, and this is common out here. The amount of snowfall, probably at this point, about 6 to 7 inches with these high winds, drifting it all over the place. The smart thing to do, what you're doing right now, staying at home, watching us do our job and get blown around. But another item of good news, very few cars out on the roadway. If you don't need to go out, I'm sure we've heard this plenty already in this broadcast. We can't say it enough. If you don't need to go out, stay where you are, in the heat and the warmth with your food. For right now, that is the latest from here on Long Island. We are in Bethpage right now. We'll keep moving throughout Long Island as these blizzard-like conditions worsen, unfortunately. But for right now, reporting live from Bethpage, I'm James Ford, PIX 11 News. Back to you in the studio.
James, thank you. There's no better gig when you're outdoors and you're measuring the snow by your boot.
Yeah, well, James is one of those guys who usually carries his own equipment. He used to carry rulers, and that we'll probably see some of that a little later on as he breaks out the James Ford weather station.
Yes, looking forward to that.
All right, let's take a look at Times Square right now. It is truly the Great White Way. Plenty of people out there trying to clear the area. We can tell you that traditionally Broadway shows stay open during the storm. If that changes, of course, we will keep you posted.
Right. Now we want to head a little south of us to one of the hardest hit areas. We're talking about Washington, D.C., and we've seen them struggling all week long. We saw a traffic snarl a few days ago, and then, of course, they were hit with more snow. That messed everything up. Plows are trying its best to clear away 13 inches of snow that already fell in that area this morning. Washington is expected to get up to 2 feet of snow and, of course, those nasty winds, 40-mile-per-hour winds. A state of emergency has been declared across the D.C. area. The mayor has a familiar message: stay off the roads. We've heard that time and time again this morning. Yep. And, of course, that's all to let these emergency workers do their jobs. You saw the plows out there. They cannot keep up with this type of snowfall. Yeah, it is rough. And they definitely can't keep up with the snowfall if there are cars out there stuck in the snow that they have to get around. As Cuomo said, as Governor Cuomo said, it just causes chaos on the road. So definitely stay off. We heard Governor Cuomo talk to us around 10 o'clock this morning. He talked for about 15 minutes and had his whole, I guess, posse of emergency heads. He did have a posse. That's what we'll call him. You know, talking about staying off the roads. An update from LIRR I just got. They're operating about 25 minutes late if you are taking that. The subway's a better option for you. Yeah. But still, we talked to the MTA spokesperson who said that they have about 220 miles of outdoor track to monitor, to thaw out, to de-ice. So that's the issue. And now we're waiting for Mayor de Blasio to give his update on the conditions here in New York City. That's going to be just a few minutes, though. Yeah, the mayor will be there in just a little bit. But again, we've been updating you on all of the situations out here. We're going to get an update on the trains now. Joining us on the phone is Meredith Daniels. She's with the Metro North and the LIRR. Meredith, are people still trying to take the trains during this storm?
Good morning. Ridership's definitely down. I would say an average of 50%. Some train lines in Metro North, we were only seeing 20% of our normal ridership. So people are, they're heeding the warning, thankfully. I can imagine. Metro North's still up and running, you know, Long Island Railroad too, with delays, like you said. I can imagine. You know, we just talked about the MTA and their 220 miles of outdoor track. I know that Metro North, I take it often. So what kind of issues are you dealing with thawing out those tracks and making sure that the trains can move ahead in all this snow? Yeah, in this case, actually, Metro North is faring better than Long Island Railroad. Usually we think of the snow going up north. This time it's a little south. So Metro North not getting as much accumulation in our service areas. So that, that's a good thing for us. The wind could be an issue because on the New Haven line we do have the overhead wires catenary, so we have to be careful of that. We have extra mechanics out. We have some of our emergency trailers out if branches should hit those wires. Other than that, Long Island Railroad, it's just a matter of seeing how much snow accumulation we get and if we'll have to modify or suspend service.
Meredith, we've been telling people, of course, to stay off the roads. If you don't have to go out, definitely stay in. But, of course, the employees of the Metro North have to be in there today to keep the Metro North going. Talk about the employees and the yeoman's job that they're doing today to keep the trains on track.
God bless them, right? We've had people coming from Long Island who work for Metro North, and they've been reporting, for duty, and people are going to stay extra shifts if they need to. Our mechanical people, our engineering people, there's a whole crew out there that people don't think of. It's not just operating the train, it's all the other mechanical stuff that goes into that, and tracks and structures.
All right.
I understand that the LIRR is running a little behind. The last update I saw on Twitter I've been following is about 25 minutes. Is that still accurate?
That is, and thank you for following Twitter, because at LIRR has, consistent updates, so that's up to the minute service right there. It's about 25 minute delays. We're seeing some switch issues. That's where the tracks actually use switch tracks, and those tend to freeze more than regular rails. So we've got our switch heaters on, but we're trying to keep up with that.
All right, Meredith, thank you so much for joining us. Meredith Daniels with Metro North and LIRR.
Yeah, we're going to take another short break. We will be right back.
In an instant, a car accident can change your life. That's why you need the help of an experienced law firm.
Call Douglas in London at 212-257-9999.
I'm a wife,
a sister,
and a grandfather.
I'm an office clerk.
I'm a research analyst, dance fitness instructor,
actor.
I'm a copywriter.
I'm a veteran.
I have lupus,
cerebral palsy.
I'm blind.
And I'm working in a job I love.
I love.
Because I was given a chance
to contribute my skills and talents.
To show that my disability
is only one part of who I am.
Who I am.
Who I am.
At work, it's what people can do that matters.
For more information, visit whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
For the first time, prehistoric Earth comes alive. Experience life-size moving, breathing dinosaurs in their natural environment. See the amazing 20-foot T-Rex, the life-size Triceratops, Stegosaurus, and the clever Velociraptor at Garden State Exhibit Center. Be a paleontologist and dig for gems and fossils. Fun educational activities for the entire family. Learn, touch, and even ride the dinosaurs. Don't miss this event, 65 million years in the making. Live in Somerset. Friday to Sunday only at Garden State Exhibit Center. DiscoverTheDinosaurs.com.
A car accident can turn a person's life upside down. And if you're hurt in an accident, you'll need a law firm that can answer your questions and help you get the money you deserve. That law firm?
Douglas in London. Call 212-257-9999.
When online gaming came to New Jersey, I couldn't wait to sign up.
That's right, New Jersey. At Betfair Casino, you can play your favorite casino games online for real cash.
You can play high stakes, low stakes. It's really up to you.
Step 1, join for free at betfaircasino.com and get $10 free. Step 2, make your first deposit and we'll double it up to $1,000. Step 3, start winning real cash.
I won $600.
$8,500.
I won $7,500 on Betfair.
Go to betfaircasino.com to claim your bonuses today.
I have been on the roads all through the metropolitan area this morning. They are incredibly dangerous. I don't care how superb a driver, how big a four-wheel drive vehicle you have, the roads are barely passable.
Yeah, the governor's message for days has been stay off the roads this weekend. He didn't stray from that message this morning at all.
Right. Now, Linda Church saying the same thing. She's been talking about flooding quite a bit, and now I know you've been tracking the snow totals. It's up there.
Visibility is really bad.
Actually, even the picture behind you guys, you can now see it blowing. Next up will be blowing and drifting snow. It's a very challenging situation. We are actually in the thick of this storm right now. By the way, this is 42nd Street, and you can see it's fairly empty. Not a lot. There are a couple of people are out there, couple of cars. But what is it? Mayor. Oh, going to go to the mayor. Going to go to the mayor. There you go. Go ahead, you guys.
The official estimate from the National Weather Service for New York City is in the 20 to 25 inches range. As of 10 a.m., there was already 11.5 inches at Central Park, which is the historic composite measure point for the city going back literally to the 1800s. So right now, knowing that this storm is moving very intensely, meaning that the snowfall, the accumulation is very intense at this moment. Originally, we were saying at this point of day, 1 to 2 inches per hour should be assumed, which is a very fast accumulation. We're even hearing estimates now of 1 to 3 inches per hour. So expect very rapid accumulation, more than in many other storms. Given those obvious facts and given that we expect that kind of clip to go on even as late as 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. tonight, it's quite clear, the math speaks for itself. This storm will surpass 20 inches accumulation in New York City. When that happens, that will put this in the top 5 snowstorms in the history of New York City. If it goes past 20 inches, it will be in the top 5 in terms of accumulation. Literally, in our recorded history, goes back, I think, to 1869. So this is a very big deal. And at this point, National Weather Service, and we certainly agree, think it is almost a foregone conclusion that we will pass that 20-inch mark. That says that people have to take very seriously what's going on here. And recognize there's a lot of danger and a lot of disruption that's going to occur because of this storm. We are still in the winter emergency status that started at 8 a.m. this morning and will continue to at least midnight. We are seriously considering a full travel ban. We've not made that decision yet. That is something we're working very closely with the state of New York on. I just spoke to Governor Cuomo. We're coordinating closely. We'll make that decision in the near term on a travel ban. So expect to hear an update even as early as within the next hour. But given what we're seeing, it is imperative that people get off the roads. Anyone who is taking their car to work really should close down their work and get home now. Anyone who's come into the city from the suburbs should turn around and go back. This is very, very fast accumulation, and I guarantee if people linger, they will get stuck. It won't be in anyone's interest. Certainly, as we've said, we're going to tow any vehicle that is blocking our snow plows or our emergency vehicles. That will cause a lot of hassle for the owner of that vehicle and a lot of expense. So the smart thing to do is, if you have taken your car out for any reason, turn around and go home right now. It's as simple as that, because this is bad and it is getting worse rapidly. Let me go over some of the other facts. Also want to emphasize, very windy, wind gusts up to 50 or plus miles an hour. Very windy situation. Again, given that fast accumulation of snow, expect whiteout conditions on the road. Incredibly dangerous. Whiteout conditions literally mean the driver cannot see, has no idea what they're about to go into. That's a reason why people want to get their cars home immediately. And again, wherever you park, get out of the way of emergency vehicles and snowplows. So park in a place that will not obstruct them. The winter emergency, as I said, continues to at least midnight. At this point, we think the snow will go almost up to that point in terms of very forceful snow. Want to emphasize that these decisions are going to be made step by step as we get more information, but a couple of new updates we can tell you. As you heard from the governor, MTA buses suspended at noon, so that's coming right up. Another indication that this storm is worsening in terms of its impact on us. MTA buses will be suspended. So as we said, I talked to some of the media earlier today and emphasized, really, as we've gotten more information, it's clearer and clearer why people should be off the streets entirely. Makes no sense to be in a car. Even mass transit, although it is still going to be running in terms of the subways, doesn't make sense to take mass transit even unless you have an absolutely urgent reason, because there will be lots of delays inevitably. Best thing to do is stay home. Just want to offer a point to my fellow parents. When I was on some of the shows earlier today, The question came, what should parents do about kids who want to go outside? I understand that fully. And, a little time out in the snow is not necessarily a bad thing, but parents, please be very, very careful. It's really difficult out there. The wind, the iciness, the fast accumulating snow. Don't just let your kids go out and spend time unattended. If you want to go out with your kids for a little bit, stay with them. Don't go out for long. Take very seriously how fast this storm is moving. And again, I understand fully kids clamoring for fun in the snow, but my best advice is either don't go out or go out very briefly and keep a very close eye on your kids. There'll be time for fun in the snow tomorrow and going forward, but right now this is a fast-moving, intensifying storm, and it should be treated with that respect. Another update, we can now say for sure that alternate side parking will be canceled Monday. Obviously, alternate side parking is canceled today. Saturday will definitely be canceled Monday. That's going to obviously be a helpful decision in terms of our drivers knowing that you can park and not have to worry about moving your car on Monday. A couple other updates on the coastal flooding concerns we continue to monitor closely. So far, thank God, the estimates we've gotten from the National Weather Service, which are fairly modest, are holding. So we do not see a major uptick in terms of the flooding, and certainly not anything that threatens life. But as we said yesterday, the major precautions that were put in place to reinforce dunes and other preventive measures, those are working. We have all the FDNY and NYPD capacity out to be ready to address anything that happens. Sanitation, again, doing an extraordinary job. You'll hear from the commissioner in a moment. Want to emphasize, you'll hear from several of the commissioners, but one of the things I really want to emphasize, given this fast accumulation of snow, we talked yesterday about the problem of fire hydrants. Again, I am a homeowner too, so I say to my fellow homeowners, if you have a fire hydrant in front of your house, get out there and keep it clear. It is really important, again, for the whole city, but for your own self-interest, keep that fire hydrant clear. God forbid the fire department needs to use it. They have to have it clear. We continue with very strong outreach efforts looking for anyone who might be in distress. Obviously, NYPD, FDNY out in full force, all of our homeless outreach out in full force, and we're continuing those efforts. Couple words in Spanish, and then I want you to hear from some of our commissioners who are doing a great job coordinating this response. Estamos siguiendo el paso de la tormenta y esperamos hasta 2 pies de nieve con inundación de costas y fuertes vientos. He declarado una emergencia local por el clima. Todos los autos que están bloqueando calles serán remolcados. Pueden llamar al 311 si tienen problemas con el agua caliente o la calefacción, o al 911 si es una emergencia. Por favor, quédense en sus casas todo el tiempo posible y eviten los viajes, incluso en el transporte público. I want to note one more point. It's in the Spanish. I missed it in the English. That, again, if there's any problems with heat and hot water, please call 311. It's going to be hard to get repairs made today, to say the least, but we do need to know if people are not getting heat and hot water so we can respond as quickly as possible. I'd like you to hear from some of the folks who are leading the response effort. First, the First Deputy Commissioner of the Office of Emergency Management, Calvin Drayton.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very quickly, the New York City Emergency Management continues to work very closely with the National Weather Service. In fact, we've had one of their members or one of their staff here since midnight, and we'll continue to have them here throughout the duration of the storm. As I mentioned yesterday, we activated our Emergency Operations Center at midnight, and we will continue to be here 24/7, supporting and coordinating with the Commissioner from Sanitation. We've deployed several members of our staff out to each of the boroughs to monitor conditions and to respond to issues before, during, and after the storm. We continue to work with our city and state partners and coordinating with them. We've been on numerous phone calls with the state in an effort to coordinate if there are shutdowns that impact the city. And that's it.
Good. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. Much appreciated. Now, the woman at the heart of the storm, the eye of the storm, but she's doing a fantastic job, our Sanitation Commissioner, Catherine Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we saw first flakes starting around 9:30 on Staten Island and started our response then.
You mean PM?
PM, yes. Not the 9:30 this morning. 9:30 p.m. last night. We were at full spreader operations by 11 p.m. and then at full plowing operations by around 5 a.m. This is much sooner than we had anticipated being out there, but being in front of the storm has helped us keep up with the amount of accumulation that we are seeing. We were seeing 1 to 2 inches very, very early, very, very fast. We have over 2,500 pieces of equipment out there at this time, including from our fellow agencies. We also have started to deploy our plowing front-end loaders as well as our V-plows. We are seeing very intense snowfall out there, and I really do ask that people get off the roads because it's dangerous if you're a professional driver. It's doubly dangerous if you have not had that training.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. And we're going to continue to emphasize, and I want to ask all of our colleagues in the media to emphasize that message that people need to get off the roads immediately. Another expert on that topic, our Transportation Commissioner, Polly Trottenberg.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yes, please. Our Traffic Management Center is open. We're monitoring roadway incidents, working with PD, and we're certainly seeing them, so we hope people will stay off the roads. We're working to clear our East River bridges, our ferry facilities. Staten Island Ferry is currently running on a 2-boat schedule, so there are delays, but we're still in operation.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. And again, another reason to stay off the roads is to leave the space for our first responders to be able to deal with whatever they need to. So let's hear from our Fire Commissioner, Dan Nigro.
Thank you. Yes, we had 3 serious fires last night, but we did have great response time. We had no serious injuries at those fires. Once again, the cold weather induces people to try to stay warm using space heaters. We tell people, please, if you're going to use space heaters, use them safely, keep them away from combustibles. That was the cause of one of the fires last night. Although no one was seriously injured, there are quite a number of people now homeless because of that. Stay off the streets with your cars so that our ambulances and our trucks can get there in a timely manner. And the fire department has staffed up as much as possible, and we've been handling the storm quite well.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Finally, again, NYPD is playing a crucial role in this response in the coastal areas and all over the city. I'd like to introduce the Chief of Department, Jimmy O'Neill.
Morning. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, so far we've had to tow 80 vehicles. We have over 120 tow trucks out there. And so far, as of 4 o'clock this morning, we have about 200 accidents throughout the city. Our Joint Operations Center has been open since 6 o'clock this morning, and our Joint Operations Center consists of patrol services, communications, Department of Sanitation's over there, Fire Department, EMS, Port Authority Police, and MTA Police. So any issue that arises, we can take care of it quickly. We have over 500 four-wheel drive and all-wheel drive vehicles out there. Our vehicles have their turret lights on, so they're easy to see. And we do have, in case of the coastal flooding, we do have numerous high-axle vehicles pre-deployed around the city. Highway District is out there also. I think there was a little problem on the LIE this morning coming into the Midtown Tunnel, but that's been taken care of. Traffic Management Center relays all information to all of our cars throughout the city. And listen, bottom line, if you don't need to be out on the street, if you don't need to be driving, if you're not going through an emergency, please stay off the street. Let us do our job. Let Fire Department do their job. Let EMS do their job. And most of all, let sanitation do their job. Just a couple of numbers. We continue our homeless outreach. Through the night last night, we had 32 people voluntarily accept our services and transported them to shelters. We had 7 that were transported to hospitals, and we actually had 1 involuntary. So just to repeat myself one last time, if you don't need to be out on the street in a vehicle or on foot, please stay home.
I want to see you and raise you, Jimmy, that, again, people sometimes convince themselves they need to be out in the street to get a gallon of milk, or they need to be out in the street to see some, other thing that they want to see. No, this is an urgent situation. Only in emergency should a car be out in the street at this point. So if you have to pick up your children, do it right now. Get home. If you have something you urgently need to do, get it done and get home right now. But otherwise, there is no reason to be out in the middle of what's going to be one of the worst snowstorms in New York City history. With that, we'll take questions.
First of all, what kind of trouble, if any, have we seen for emergency vehicles? Because maybe it's testament to sanitation. When we drove from the Upper West Side to here in downtown Brooklyn, the streets were pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because of your all's work, or maybe it's because we've only got 9 inches so far. But what kind of experience have ambulances and emergency vehicles seen so far, and what do you expect if we do go over that 25?
So I'll have Commissioner Nigro speak to that, but let me start by saying it is testament to the extraordinary work of the sanitation department. As you heard Commissioner Garcia say, the storm did come in several hours earlier than originally projected, but they were ready for it. So they had all the assets pre-positioned, all the shift at full strength. So this is something we constantly invoke around here. The Weather Service does an incredible job. But again, down on the ground here, we have to deal with what really happens, not projections, but what really happens. And if something happens several hours earlier, we have to be ready to respond immediately. Sanitation did that. When I came down from Gracie Mansion here to OEM in Brooklyn, I had the same experience you did. I thought sanitation had done a fantastic job. But that fast accumulation is the challenge. Even if they're doing everything perfectly, 1 inch per hour, 2 inches per hour, even at times 3 inches per hour, there's only so much that snowplows can handle in such a huge city. So that's why people have to understand that this is becoming a more intense situation, why it's so important to get out of the way so sanitation can keep doing their work. Commissioner Nigro will speak to the EMS response issue.
Well, so far overnight and this morning, we've had 5 ambulances that were temporarily stuck in the snow, and our vehicles, our fire apparatus, of course, being much larger, do not have that problem. We're able to pull them out. And where they have the problems,